it out that the sun shines down its power to all the world and makes the wind blow strong as it will. I wonder how gentle rains can fall upon the land, so lovely earth can stay lovely still.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 651st episode of Energy Week with George Harvey and the amazing Nancy Wolf.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this is, we're recording this ostensibly on the 27th of November, but in fact on the 26th. They let us slip by because the 27th is Thanksgiving. So
it's closed here. They're closed. They're not going to let us in, so we have to do it today.
And we couldn't rent a camera. We could have done that.
It sounds like.
We could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it wouldn't have been in a studio.
Yeah, and then
it's more
you're
fun.
adding a lot. Yeah, it's adding a lot of variables.
It's more fun this way. Anyway, this is a news aggregation show which gets the articles that it aggregates from my blog, geoharvey.com, which is a news aggregation blog. Isn't that funny how that works? And that is posted every morning, has been posted every morning since the 2nd of June, 2012. I haven't taken a day off in all that time. I mean, Christmas morning at 4 o'clock, I'm there doing the, yeah.
Good. That's important. That's what Santa needs.
That's what Santa needs.
He needs
Is
to
that
know.
who came to my door? I don't have a fireplace. Anyway, some people have said that I look like Santa Claus.
Right. You have a beard.
And I always tell little kids, I'm not Santa Claus. I'm sorry. He does look a lot like me, I will admit, and I've wondered whether I wasn't closely related.
I do want to ask you about that person who came up to you at the party and said that they enjoyed your whistling.
Yes.
Yes.
What about it?
I want to know about your whistling.
Oh, I haven't whistled for months. You have to have very careful control.
Yeah,
over
I'm not.
your
I
lips.
can't whistle, so that's.
Yeah, but one of these days when I'm not on camera, I'll whistle for you.
Okay.
I don't know what'll happen if I try doing it. I think the microphone might get screwed up anyway. We're getting behind here.
Yes, we are.
So I'm going to change this. We have a picture of a wind turbine.
Yeah.
And what do you got there?
Yeah, this is from Renews. Wind hits new generation record in Britain.
Yes, and I forgot to tell people as we came on, you can go to my blog, geoharvey.com, GeoHarvey. Go to the date, which we're starting on the 20th of November, and then look through the stories and you'll find these. Or you can go to a site that's listed on the computer that you can scroll to one way or another, called, in this case, it's a tiny URL site, and it's Energy Week 651. The UK set a new wind power generation record at 7:30 p.m. on the 11th of November, with turbines producing 22,711 megawatts, according to the National Energy System Operator. At the time the record was set, wind supplied 43.6% of electricity demand for the UK, generating enough power for 22 million homes.
That's a lot of homes.
That's a lot of power. I mean, that's as much power as you would get from well over 20 large nuclear power plants, I should say reactors. And that's a lot. And, you know, it doesn't leave nuclear waste.
Yeah, there's not waste with wind.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah.
And we will see more comparisons coming up. The next
Yep.
article that we have coming up is one that I found really kind of exciting. There's a picture of a sprout in a garden.
Yeah. So this is from Euronews. The secret to tackling the climate crisis could be right under our feet.
The key to meeting
Yes.
global climate targets may be our soil. As COP30 enters its final week, and it's over now, and a lot of people are disappointed, pressure to transition from fossil fuels, bolster renewable energy, and even take meat out of our diets is at an all-time high, but understanding our soil gives us a powerful tool.
You were talking about dirt before. I remember you were talking about dirt.
Yeah, and also sphagnum,
Yes.
peat moss, peat bogs. 15, the amount of carbon dioxide taken down by an acre of peat bog, which by the way can be established in a couple of years, is equal to the amount of energy taken down by 15 acres of mature forest. And that is just mind-boggling. It tells you we've got all the tools to stop climate change, except that, we've got to get rid of people who are working actively against stopping climate change. And we've got an incredible amount of material to reverse the increasing amount of increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We can do this. This is not, and one of the things that's exciting about this is I look down at toward the future and I see soil. People haven't even looked at soil as a potential for drawing down carbon. And, what other scientific advances are there going to be that we should investigate? Well, I can tell you one thing, and that is there's more than one out there.
Yeah.
And I think that it's possible that 10 years from now, we're going to be getting back to a point where it gets cold in the winter.
Oh, okay. So it's not where I'm wearing my jacket outside today.
Yeah.
And,
well.
Yeah.
So, I've got some hope. Anyway,
Yes,
should we
you
go on, or do you want to talk more about this?
No, let's go on because
Okay.
this comes up again later.
Okay.
Similar things.
We have a picture of West Virginia countryside. I found this at Wikimedia Commons. And I just find that an interesting view. And I think it would be much more fun if the view didn't have 2 coal-burning power plants in it.
Yeah, and this article is from Clean Technica.
Yes.
And U.S. Department of Energy to loan West Virginia utilities $1.4 billion to keep 6 high-cost coal plants alive.
But not human beings alive.
No,
Because
just the plants.
the coal plants will kill human beings.
And we're not talking about growing plants, like just
Yeah.
industrial plants.
Vermont-
Keep them healthy. Keep the industrial plants
Vermont doesn't have a single coal-burning power plant in it, and hasn't for many, many years. In fact, I don't know that it ever did. But it hasn't for many, many years. And yet, our air is sufficiently polluted. We in Vermont have sufficiently polluted air, despite the fact that people move here for our clean air, among other things. It is sufficiently polluted that it kills the air pollution, leads to an early death, let me put it that way, of somewhere between 250 and 300. That means most days somebody dies because of air pollution.
Yeah.
And what the United States Department of Energy is doing here is it's loaning money that it's getting from taxpayers to plants that kill people. Now, I think there are laws that are being violated here, I have no doubt, but the court cases that prove it are yet to come.
I remember, this is such an age-old story. I remember this happening in New York regarding nuclear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is just such a story of we're going to save this industrial plant no matter what.
Are
We
you
don't care.
talking about Indian Point?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
At Fukushima, American citizens were advised not to go within 50 miles of that plant.
Yeah.
What's 50 miles from Indian Point? Do you know?
New York City?
Okay.
Not quite.
One little bit of New York City, about 3 blocks at the southern end of Staten Island, is a little bit more than 50 miles from Indian Point. The rest of it is within 50 miles. So if there were a meltdown at Indian Point,
Yep.
and people were given the same advice in the United States that they were given in Fukushima, they would have to evacuate New York completely.
Well, there's a great movie called Indian Point,
Yeah, well,
which really describes that pretty well.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
But that was a governor doing it versus this is the U.S. Department of Energy.
yes. And is any of the U.S. departments that are involved in human health going to be standing in contradiction to this?
No, but that's why my comment is this is disgustingly selfish.
Yeah. It's so somebody can make money.
So make money and other people's health can be harmed.
And one of the things that's particularly distressing about this, and the harm to human health is the most distressing thing, but there's this other aspect to this that is particularly distressing, which is that they could have said, we're going to loan $1.44 billion to the state of West Virginia to put in solar panels. And they would have had the energy, then some, and then some, and then some, because $1.44 billion to keep coal plants alive is incredible.
Sounds like a political move. Doesn't really sound
it's a
like it's
political
for
move.
human health.
Well, Donald Trump in his first term, by the way, was the worst president for coal of any recent president. He was worse than Obama. He was worse than Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. The Dow Jones Coal Index fell during Trump's administration to 0. Okay, it didn't really fall to 0. It fell 90 some odd percent and then stopped reporting. Is that falling to 0? It's pretty close. Okay,
It's the stop reporting part that's interesting to me.
September 18th, 2019, and that was before Joe Biden was elected. Mm-hmm. So the coal index stopped reporting, even though there was no knowledge that Donald Trump wasn't going to be the next president. By the way, it has been revived, but it was revived under the Joe Biden administration, and it's mostly metallurgical coal that they're interested in. Okay, we have a picture of a refinery.
Yes. So this one I have a lot of comments on, this is from Euronews. Fossil fuel phase out becomes COP30's biggest talking point, but will it happen?
Well, the answer, yeah. Despite increasing investment in clean energy, experts warn progress toward fossil fuel-free future is not, quote, happening fast enough, end quote. Global emissions are still climbing, but developing a roadmap that manages the transition in a just way is proving a challenge. And should I give the spoiler here? Or do you want to?
You can spoil. All I say is correct. This is correct.
It also was something that people at COP30 did not manage to do.
No, well, they don't. That's usually they don't manage to do this.
There's a reason
regularly.
why, and the reason is because of the way these COP meetings are set up. The rules of the meetings basically guarantee failure. Because
there's no meat. There's no nothing to hold on to.
Everybody has to agree.
Right.
That was the thing that was so exciting about COP15. Everybody agreed. Everybody has to agree. And my reaction to that was, I wonder what would happen. You know, there's 200 countries that are involved, roughly speaking. What would happen if a third of those countries just decided that they'd had enough and they were not going to buy fossil fuels at all anymore from anybody? If they could do that, and there are countries, I mean, Tokelau has been 100% solar for 10 years. There are countries that can do that, and if they do that, other countries are going to join them gradually, and the whole thing would, for one thing, I think, put an end to the war in Ukraine, which is funded by oil and coal and natural gas, and was, I believe, started because Vladimir Putin was really upset with Europe because they were announcing that they were going to stop buying from Russia. It's 2/3 of his income. We're getting behind. We have to do something about it.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Picture of an offshore wind farm.
And yeah, this one.
That one
fun.
Is from the Maryland Energy Administration. And honestly, you know, the way they do these pictures, I don't know if that picture is real or fake. I don't know if those wind turbines exist or not. And I'm not paying attention to Maryland well enough to be able to tell.
I see. Well, this is from Renews.
Yes.
And the headline here is Maryland launches Offshore Workforce Fund.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore has announced federal funding to provide training and place jobs for the state's offshore wind workforce. The $4.7 million funding is to make Maryland more competitive by creating a skilled worker pipeline into Maryland's wind energy industry, according to Governor Moore. Now, this is something that I've been noticing in the last few weeks. There is a growing force in the federal government, and he's referring to it in the federal government, to get renewable energy online. And it's not the only place that I'm seeing people operate in ways that are contradictory to the desires of the president. Yeah. But I think the hand has been writing on the wall.
Yes.
And people have been noticing it. And, you know, so we'll see how that all develops.
No, I mean, this is great on all the levels. It's great on all the levels. It's great for labor. It's great for the environment. It's great for the economy.
I'd like to see it more than $4.7 million. Well,
yeah, how about we take whatever was given to, well, we add this $1.4 billion that was just loaned
to West Virginia.
Why don't we move that back in here, and then I just fixed it.
I think you did, except I wouldn't take all of the $1.44 billion. I'd put a lot of that in West Virginia, where people need jobs, and say, you want a job, we'll be installing solar power.
Yes, or West Virginia launches its own workforce fund.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. We have a picture of the United States Capitol building.
Oh, yes. So this is from Renews. Key U.S. House Committee advances permitting bill.
The U.S. House Committee on Natural Resources has advanced a bill aimed at getting energy projects built faster. Wow. It would make key reforms to much of U.S. federal permitting process for infrastructure projects, including offshore and onshore projects on federal land.
Okay, great.
All right, who wants this? It is not President.
No, we do.
Yeah, we do. And I think, you know, I'm seeing the tide turning here. That's what I think I'm seeing. So we'll see.
Reality coming up to the point.
Yes.
Really.
Okay, we're up to Saturday, November 22nd, and we have a picture of a nuclear power plant.
Oh, yeah, this one's fun. This is from oilprice.com.
Yes.
Nuclear is costly comeback meets harsh market reality.
I loved that when I read that title. It is a familiar set of arguments. Nuclear will provide low carbon baseload power, ensure energy security, and can one day deliver affordable clean power. It sounds persuasive until you look at the numbers.
Oh yeah, look at those numbers.
New nuclear continues to be slow, expensive, and deeply reliant on state support. State meaning state, federal, whatever. There is not one thing about nuclear power, I think, that gives it an advantage over solar, wind, and batteries.
Oh, you
Not
mean
one.
waste? You mean waste is an advantage? Okay. Sorry, I thought that's what it has. It has waste.
It has waste, and there are
Lots
people
of
who say, "Yeah,
industrial waste.
let's have that
Let's have
waste
industrial
because
waste. We need more industrial waste. We
you
don't have
start
enough.
all you have to do is start a company that is devoted to dealing with nuclear waste, and you can make money on nuclear power plants. As far as I'm concerned, making money should not be the priority for business. There's something wrong with socialism. There's something wrong with capitalism. There's got to be a third, fourth, fifth, whatever. And there can
some
be.
people call this late stage capitalism.
Well,
Some people call there's so many different versions of capitalism people call this, but people call this a lot of bad versions of it.
I'm not going to say that I think that capitalism is bad or socialism is bad, but as they have been executed in the real world, neither of them is adequate.
Right. Fair.
And, I know that there are other systems. I mean, what happened before Croesus? You remember Croesus? You ever hear the term rich as Croesus?
No.
Croesus was about 400 BC.
Okay.
And he was the man who invented gold and silver coins.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about King David
Nah.
didn't have a clue about
Okay.
coins.
Okay. Okay.
Solomon, as wise as he was,
No.
nothing about coins.
Okay.
Okay, and that, by the way, is true. You can just look it up. I used to have a little coin. It was about that big, that I gave to my daughter, and it had the symbol of King Croesus on it, and it was made in Miletus, which was the city that Thales, the first known Greek philosopher, was in, and it was there possibly after Thales, but maybe during his lifetime. And it was just a little coin. It was not special. It was in really beautiful condition, but it only cost me about $45. I'm going to shut this speaker off in case anybody's
Oh,
hearing.
yes, right? We got speaker.
Go. No more of that.
You ready for the next one?
Next one.
Yes, okay.
We're burning fossil fuels.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. So this is from Euronews. Oh, wait, no. Yes, this is from Euronews. Pushback against phase out of fossil fuels upsets COP30 climate talks as EU rejects draft deal.
All right. The important thing here is the EU rejected the draft deal.
Yes.
Okay. The climate talks ended without an agreement on fossil fuels, but the EU rejected a deal that would have allowed fossil fuels to be built, to be used, to be burned. Delegates at COP30 worked into the early hours of Saturday, it was supposed to be over by then, to find common ground on a host of proposals. Many nations wanted to explicitly cite the cause of global warming, which is burning fossil fuels. The EU rejected a draft because it did not mention them.
That's good.
So the EU is going to go home and they're going to say this wasn't as good as we'd like, but it's not going to change their position on fossil fuels.
No, I mean, but it's when you're talking about information,
Yeah.
this is clear. This part is clear.
Yes.
If you want to sign on and say, okay, yeah, fossil fuels, but also it is the reason.
Yes,
so as long as we're
absolutely.
being specific with what the
Yes.
reason is, sure,
Yes.
do whatever you want, but
Yes.
but no.
Yes. Okay. And,
Okay.
you know, I think the evidence is there.
Yes.
It's
The
just
evidence
there.
is there.
Okay. We have a picture of the Daniel Johnson Dam.
Okay.
And that dam, by the way, is in Quebec.
Yeah. So this is from NBC Boston. Massachusetts energy market ready for a jolt of Canadian hydropower.
In a bright spot for the state's climate agenda during a year marked by stalled clean energy projects, the long-delayed transmission line that will deliver Canadian hydropower to New England is on track to send 1,090 megawatts of electricity into Massachusetts by the end of 2025. So there you have it.
Great.
Okay, so that just means we're going to have a transmission line, which, by the way, doesn't produce much waste, you know, is not particularly dangerous in terms of, it could melt, but it won't melt down the way a nuclear plant does.
Right. Yeah. That's,
You know,
there's not a
lots of-
criticality. Okay.
But this is the equivalent of a large nuclear reactor. Okay, we're up to Sunday, November 23rd.
Are.
We have a picture of West Texas.
Oh yeah, I know someone from West Texas. So this is from Clean Technica.
Yes.
Water wars come to Texas.
Yeah, this picture, by the way, reminds me, every time I look at that, I think about these novels that I've been writing, novellas actually, they're short. And they're about western Nebraska. And the territory of the novellas looks like that. Anyway, recently, Clean Technica ran an article about how 7 states that rely on the Colorado River for water are squabbling about who should get how much. Here is a follow-up story from Grist about how people in East Texas, which is where most of the population is, are pushing back against plans to take water from their local aquifer and send it to West Texas. I think that's a terrible idea. I know the people in West Texas need the water, but taking it out of an East Texas aquifer is a bad idea, I think.
Is this akin to Detroit?
How?
I'm just curious if this water wars. We can also talk about it like California's water wars.
Yes.
There's all these water wars. I'm just thinking about water wars. That's
Yeah,
all.
I don't want to have water wars around here, but we could.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
That's the
The thing is, when you take water out of an aquifer, it's like, yeah, the aquifer gets filled up by rain, but the reason you take it out of the aquifer is because you don't have enough rain. So the aquifer is not going to get filled up. And even if you do that, you know, you see pictures of land in the Dakotas that had been farmland and it can't be used anymore because they were using pumped water and the water had salts in it and the salts have been accumulating on the surface of the land. What they've got to do is get people to use less water. And this business, I think about an article that I read many years ago in National Geographic, I think, about a monastery. I don't even know what religion it was in the Sinai. It could have been a monastery of some Jewish sect. It could have been a monastery that was Christian, but it was there. It's still there. People still live there, or did at the time that the article was written. They were in the Sinai. They didn't have any rivers running past. They got their water 100% from rainwater in the Sinai. They had rainwater catchment going into cisterns, and they guarded that rainwater.
Right.
We've got to regard our resources as valuable.
Yes, we do.
You know,
This is where national security would do well.
Yes.
With understanding that.
And
security of our resources is important.
Yeah, and swales, you know, on hillsides capture the water and the water just sits there and seeps into the ground, that puts water into the groundwater system. And if you dig those, or you dig the demi-lunes that are being dug in the south of the Sahara, you can capture the water and not have it just run into the ocean. And if you do that, you can improve things. And this thing in California, the thing in Texas, the whatever, can be improved without pumping water out of the ground. And we are behind.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, we have a picture of wind turbines.
Oh, yes, we do. So this is from Herald Online.
Herald Online is a funny name.
It is. It's from, I think this is ZW. Zimbabwe?
I think it is, actually.
Wow,
yeah.
I can't believe I guessed that.
I'm not 100% sure.
So this article is renewable energy is cheaper, healthier.
Yeah. You might not know
that?
it from the headlines, but there's some good news about the fight against climate change. A decade ago, the cheapest way to meet growing demand for electricity was to build more coal or natural gas power plants, or nuclear. Not anymore. Cheapest by far is solar and wind power. Don't leave the batteries out. Keep them in.
Don't leave the batteries out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So there it is. I think we can just go on from
Yeah,
there.
let's go. Let's go.
All right. We have a picture of a Swainson's hawk.
Yeah.
This is from Unsplash. I did a search at Unsplash for threatened animals, and I got this picture and I liked it, so I used it. And then when I later had already published it, I went to Wikipedia and said, what is Swainson's hawk? And I found out it is designated as an animal of least concern.
Oh,
So
least
this is-
concern. Okay.
This is a common animal. Nobody's worried about it going extinct anytime soon.
Great. Okay. So this is from ABC News. What to know about Trump's proposal to revise the Endangered Species Act?
A proposal from the Trump regime is to revise the Endangered Species Act could have critical impacts on many vulnerable animals, plants, habitats in the U.S., environmental advocates say. The U.S. Interior Department had outlined several rules it plans to roll back. Okay, let me ask everybody, how would you feel about having Baltimore Orioles go extinct?
No.
The Audubon Society has said that they're worried about Baltimore Orioles. Even though they're not on the endangered species list, they're worried about Baltimore Orioles. What about the American bald eagle?
Well, this literally says, this text says the Trump regime.
Yeah, well,
by the way. Was that you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But that is a word that's a word that is becoming very, very
I know, but
common.
that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah.
Is that's a regime. You're talking about, animals.
When I put my blog entries up, I want to have every entry occupy 5 and one complete lines and 1 partial line. So everything goes on 6 lines. And the reason why that happened was not because I decided to do it that way because it looks neat. Initially, I started just saying I'm going to put a synopsis down. It's going to be a synopsis, however long it is, that's what it is. And I had a friend say, that article was so neat. And I knew that there was an article in that day's blog that he would really love. And I said, I thought you'd like it. And he went on about an article that occupied 7 lines. But the article I thought he would like occupied only 3. And, they were right next to each other. But he put the emphasis on the longer article, and I didn't want the emphasis to go on by the length. So I just decided they're all going to be the same length. That's it.
Sounds good. Uniform. Yep.
Anyway, the word administration is hard to deal with in a line because it takes up so much of it.
Well,
but regime is used a lot these days, and it's getting used more and more.
I mean, that's,
Okay. We're up to Monday, November
Yes, we are.
24th, and we have a picture of a solar farm in Telangana.
Yes. So this is from PV Magazine India.
Yes.
India adds a record 20.1 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity in 5 months of fiscal year 26, a paradigm shift and its impact.
Okay, I want to explain something, and that is, if you're going to report anything from India, it's weird. India is weird. I'm not pointing a finger at them to make fun of them. The thing about India is, first of all, Indian publications, American publications, you're allowed to take a paragraph out of something and say, this is a paragraph from this publication and this article, and here it is. And then, the simple thing that you have to worry about is the link that you provide going to go to the article so that your reader is actually going to get there. In India, they have half a dozen, maybe a dozen different ways of bollocksing any attempt to copy a paragraph from an article. They'll give you 5 words and a link to it, or they'll give you nothing, or they'll not even allow you to highlight the text. It's a difficult Indian mathematics. In the United States, we have 3 numerals for the units, 3 for the thousands, 3 for the millions, 3 for the billions, 3 for the trillions, 3 for quadrillions, and so forth. I'm ignoring the fact that there's a different system that is very similar where you have, I'm not going to ignore it, 3 for the units, 3 for the thousands, 3 for the millions, 3 for the 1,000 millions, 3 for the billions, 3 for the 1,000 billions. In that system, a billion is what we would call a trillion. And that system was current in the UK when I lived there, but it is apparently no longer. They've taken the American system. In India, they have 3 for the units, 2 for the thousands, 2 for the lakh, 2 for the crore, 2 for the arab, 2 for the karab. Now, they've modified this so it's 3 for the units, 2 for the thousands, 2 for the lakh, 2 for the 2 for crore, 3 for thousand crore. 3 for 100. 3 for crore, 2 for thousand. It's hard. It's hard to figure this out. So anyway.
Okay, I get it.
A paradigm shift and its impact. Yes, India's energy story has gone beyond ambition from April to August 2025, and that's why I brought this in. Their fiscal year starts in April.
Okay.
That's
It's
a 123 year-over-year jump in renewable energy capacity additions is not just a headline, it's a signal of structural maturity, industrial resilience, and party coherence. Okay, for as much as I have exposed the Indians to ridicule, I gotta say, they're doing a pretty good job here, especially when you're comparing them to us.
Yes, a lot of people too. There's a lot of people in India. There's a lot of
they
people.
Have the same,
and it's very diverse, and the land is so diverse there.
Yes,
They
have the same problems that China has. Hundreds of languages.
Well, there's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of similarities, and both of those countries have been building coal-burning power plants. Why? Well, it's not because coal is cheap. It's because they have to get electricity to their citizens. They feel they have to get electricity to their citizens. It was only about 3 years ago, that China finally said, we've got electric power to every village in China. Although they counted a village if one house had it.
Right.
So, they're still trying to get it to people.
Yep.
Okay. Now we come to Jodhpur Railway Station.
Yes. So this is from MSN.
Yeah.
Acme Solar wins a 130 megawatt round-the-clock renewable energy tender from railways.
Acme, or ACME, Solar Holdings said it has secured the winning bid for a 130 megawatt capacity in a tender floated by Indian Railways for round-the-clock renewable energy. The company's winning bid, and I translate these into rupees per kilowatt hour and then to cents per kilowatt hour because of what I said about mathematics.
Complications. Okay, math, yes.
4.35 rupees per kilowatt hour, which is 4.9 cents per kilowatt hour, according to a company statement. So this is, what Acme Solar is going to be providing electricity for. This is the price. Now, if it had happened in Vermont, it might have been lower.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. We have a farm in New Jersey.
Yes, we do.
This is in Vernon, New Jersey, which is a town that is on the New York State border.
Yeah. So this is from Clean Technica.
Yeah.
Blue State steps up to save farms with solar power.
New Jersey's 3-year dual-use solar energy pilot program was designed to encourage farmers to adopt agrivoltaic strategies that
Love me some agrivoltaic.
yeah, that were researched and implemented at Rutgers University. I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
Participants in the pilot program can contribute to a platform for knowledge sharing. So they built this pilot program with that built in. And
I spent plenty of time in Central Jersey, and plenty of time going to farms, plenty of time hiking around.
I spent years living in New Jersey.
You spent years living in New Jersey. I just visited. But you lived. Yeah.
But I was in North Central, so I was probably a little bit farther north from where you were.
I've been all over. I lived in New York for 16 years, so I've been all over. But I have friends in what's it called? New Brunswick, around New Brunswick area. So
I'll tell you, by the way, I was driving through not Vernon, but New Vernon, which is just south of Morristown.
I've been in Morristown. Yeah. Exactly.
I lived in Morristown. And I was driving through there. I was going home from work, which I did at, 12:30, got out of work. And I would drive a long ways round to get home because I liked driving in the night when nobody was on the road. Yeah. And I was driving along in New Vernon, and all of a sudden there was an animal in front of me. It had jumped from the right bank of the road, and I was afraid I was going to total my car on this animal. I just barely missed it. And I figured it was about the size of a large buck, but it wasn't a buck. It was a cougar. 35 miles from the from the Holland Tunnel.
Wow.
And
wow.
People in New Vernon had been complaining about the lion for years, and the Fish and Game people were saying, local cops were saying, there's no lion. And they'd come in with plaster casts of footprints, and they'd say, we don't know where you got that, but there's no lion. But there are cougars, catamounts in Vermont and New Hampshire. I feel very confident. I had a neighbor when I was living in New Hampshire who had a video of 2 German shepherds running after a cougar. And the cougar was just kind of loping away from them.
I feel like I've seen bobcats.
Well, I've seen bobcats. But this thing, we're talking, a bobcat you're talking about maybe 25, 30 pounds. With a cougar, you're talking about maybe 80, 90, 100, 110 pounds. These things are big, but they're also extremely shy. And this guy got a video, and he went to Fish and Game, and he's a friend of his, and he said, I've got a video, we've got a problem. And the guy said, I want to see it. And he took it, to his office and showed it to people there, and he came back and he said, here's your video back. That looks like a cougar. So the guy said, well, are we going to tell people? And the guy in Fish and Game said, no, it'll cost too much money Because they'd have to educate people not to shoot them.
Right.
They'd have to tell farmers, look, don't shoot a cougar just because it's there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why they felt it would be better for people not to know. The fact is, we go through year after year after year, these things are cited, they don't do a lot of damage as far as the people who are regulating the thing know. Okay,
Yeah.
we've got to go on.
Yep, gotta go on.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
this one's fun. Yes, yes. Okay, so this is from ABC News.
Yep.
Ozone hole ranked as fifth smallest in more than 30 years, a report shows.
The ozone hole over Antarctic ranks as the fifth smallest since 1992, according to a report by NOAA and NASA scientists. They emphasize that recent findings show efforts to limit ozone depleting chemicals can have a significant impact. Now, there were people when this was started, the ozone thing, who said, we're never going to have an impact on this. We're not going to remove ozone. And for the United States, there was one voice that really put dealing with this into motion.
Oh, tell me who.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
And he said, we don't know if it is doing this or not, but we know that the regulations are going to cost X, and if things go bad when the regulations are needed, it's going to cost Y, and Y is many times as big as X. So we're going to, obviously I'm not giving you a quote. Okay.
Well, ozone was, that's part of my childhood of
Yes.
learning about the planet. Ozone, ozone in my
Yes.
classrooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now it's carbon dioxide.
Now
which has
people are
been-
learning about people are learning about climate change, but it was
And
ozone,
methane.
all ozone.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Okay. Our next picture, this is kind of a nice picture of an airplane landing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is from Euronews. European Commission touts increase of biofuels to clean up heavy transport.
Okay, the European Union wants to increase the uptake of biofuels for aviation and maritime sectors to cut pollution from heavy transport. Aviation and maritime are highly reliant on fossil fuels and account for about 8.4% of the European Union's total greenhouse gas emissions, according to EU data.
Biofuels? What do you think of biofuels?
I hate biofuels.
I'm not into them.
But I will say, I think we should have a rule, at least for now, that says if you're going to fly a plane from New York to London or whatever across the ocean, it should be fueled by biofuels.
See, I just think of biofuels as all these movies that talk about biofuels.
Actually, I have to take that back. I'm not sure that biofuels are better than
Yeah.
oil or natural.
It's one of those random thing like how about we try this method of
Well, the problem that I have with biofuels, and as I think about it, we're going to have to ditch them all.
yeah.
You have the United States producing biomethane or ethanol. And it takes about a gallon of gasoline to produce, or a little bit more, to produce a gallon of ethanol.
Great.
Does this make sense?
I'm not sure that math is helping us.
And does it I don't know that maybe it pollutes less than gasoline.
Maybe.
But if you're going to use a gallon of gasoline to produce a gallon of ethanol, and you count that gasoline in, it stops making sense
Yes.
at all very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, should I go on?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a picture of a wind turbine.
Yeah. We're going to the Philippines now.
Ah, there you go.
So here we go. This is from Renews. Acciona Energia wins 281 megawatt Philippine auction.
Acciona Energia, is that how it's pronounced?
Energia.
Yeah. Signed a 20-year power contract for full output of 2 renewable projects totaling 281 megawatts in the Philippines. The contract provides long-term certainty for the energy the products will produce. Acciona Energia said it's, they speak English in the Philippines for the most
Some
part.
people do. I have an ex-boyfriend who is Filipino. Some people do.
But not
all I
everybody.
know is the spam was a really big deal.
The what is?
Spam.
Spam.
Yes, making what is it? Corned beef hash, like really specific corned beef hash. I remember
It's
him
not
being
corned
really
beef, it's
specific about the
spam.
corned beef hash. Oh, I think it was spam. It was like came in this can, and he was like, "No, we don't use regular corned beef hash. We use this particular can." Anyway,
Okay.
meat. Yeah.
We
food is what I
grow
know.
calamandans, and the calamandans are big in Philippine cooking. And a calamandan is a cross between an orange and a kumquat.
Oh.
And our calamandans are going to go ripe in maybe 2 or 3 months. But I harvested a lime, and it was the scent of that lime was just, I'm sorry, we should be. Okay, it has a development pipeline of over 2 gigawatts in the Philippines. And Meyer lemons also are coming. The lime tree and the Meyer lemon tree. I have a lime tree and a lemon tree, Meyer lemon tree. It's Persian lime, Meyer lemon. We've got lots of other citrus trees, but these 2 particular trees are in my kitchen right now in pots. They're both fairly big. The Persian lime is taller than I am, and they are both bearing fruit. They're both ripening fruit. Mm-hmm. I've harvested one of the limes. The Meyer lemons are just in the process of turning yellow, and they are both in bloom, because that's what citrus do. They try to bear fruit all year long. Okay. Let's get away from that.
Yeah.
We're up to Wednesday, November 26th, and we've got a picture of tank cars carrying biofuel.
Yeah, we got biofuels again.
Biofuel
Biofuels.
galore.
Hope or hype.
Yeah, according to Grist, which is a newspaper, Brazil, Italy, Japan, and India are the primary sponsors of a call for the rapid global expansion of biofuels to decarbonize transportation, which it won't do. I'm sorry, the which it won't do is my addition. But Keon Delaney, who leads biofuel research for T&E, said, quote, "Biofuels are a terrible climate solution and a staggering waste of land, food, and millions in subsidies." And
yes.
I think that really says it.
That's
right
what
there.
it says. Exactly. That's the point. It feels like a just distraction.
It's a distraction. It's
from what we could actually be doing.
Yeah, it's like nuclear power plants, except
it's just we're like, oh, it's biofuels.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, I think he's right.
Yeah.
Now we have a picture of Mount Rainier.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yes. Yes. So this is from ABC News.
Yes.
So Mount Rainier may be shrinking due to climate change.
Mount Rainier, a volcano in Washington state, is shrinking, likely due to climate change. Since the mid-20th century, the summit of Mount Rainier has likely declined more than 20 feet due to snow and ice melt. So as you melt this stuff, the mountain isn't holding this stuff up, so it's just kind of... according to a paper in the journal Arctic, Antarctic, and Alpine Research.
I say this is coming to a Vermont near you.
Yes, I think that's true. Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of global warming has caused sea level rise, except in Greenland, where the global warming is causing the ice to melt, so Greenland is rising faster than the sea. We have these changes.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have one final story.
Oh, yes, we do.
And here it is.
Oh,
Picture
yes.
that I believe is a river in Uzbekistan. I labeled it that way, but it might be a lake. It's just that I don't think of
It's a body of water in Uzbekistan, is what we're saying.
That's true, but it looks like it could be a river, and I know that Uzbekistan.
Maybe part of it's a lake. It's possible.
Maybe it's a reservoir.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So this is from Euronews. Uzbekistan's renewable expansion is powering long-term growth.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
With its powerful rivers and rising winds, Uzbekistan is reshaping its energy future. Rapid growth in hydropower, wind, and solar, supported by homegrown technology, is driving the nation toward energy independence and a more sustainable economy. And this is important. There is little in this world that's more democratic than renewable energy.
I think
I can have my own energy. I can put up solar panels, have batteries, get my energy from that.
yeah, but here's the thing is this part, driving the nation towards a more sustainable economy,
Yes,
as in steady.
yes. That's right.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
Would it not be nice? I might enjoy that here.
If we had that here,
That'd be
yeah,
nice.
I'd like to have a
I'd like
sustainable
some
economy.
stability.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we end the show?
I think it's time.
So we have something to say to everybody, which is have a wisely managed week.
Yes. Wise.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hope you come back next time,
Okay.
and hope you enjoy your week.